Hey guys, it's Kai. Welcome back to my regularly scheduled content. I have been out of town for a bit and I'm back in the swing of it now, hopefully. I never feel like I'm actually back in the swing of anything. But this is, I think, what you guys are more used to seeing on my channel. Is just us sitting, having a chat. And so it feels good to be back to this, you know, talking to you, talking to the camera. Good times. But today I wanted to make a binding tip video. Can you stop clacking your feet all over the hard floor? Thanks. No, take your time, it's fine. I have just spent an extensive amount of time in my hometown in southern New Mexico. So it was very hot there and I felt like, given the fact that it is hot as heckaroony out there, that we would talk about some binding tips on how to stay safe and survive this heat and your dysphoria at the same time. Because I definitely struggled with it in the 100-degree weather. That's what we're doing today, binding tips. Whether you are a trans man or you are non-binary or you are a cis person who binds for whatever reason you may bind, I'm sure you already know how super fun and awesome binding is. It's just the best. I know I've talked about binding on this channel a few times, but I haven't ever done like a binding tips video, and this is just all from my own personal handbook of tips, just from my own experience. I've been binding for about 2 years now, so this is just stuff that I've kind of learned in order to cope with, one, with my dysphoria, and two, with the discomfort of binding. So for those of you who don't know, a chest binder is something that people use to bind their chest and make it appear flat. I personally do this to deal with chest dysphoria, as I am transgender. I'll just show you what it looks like really quick if you don't know. This is my binder. As you can see, it makes me pretty flat. This is my favorite binder. It's my go-to binder, and I wear it all the time. It is a GC2B, part of the nude collection, and I believe it's the second lightest one, and if it's super comfy and well, as comfy I think as a binder could be. So I definitely recommend GC2B to pretty much anybody who's interested in a chest binder. So before we discuss my personal binding tips, I just want to discuss some binding safety because it is very, very important. Number one, do not ever exercise in your binder. I don't care if you are running or jogging or working out or playing basketball or playing badminton, looking at you, Ryan, or anything else. Don't exercise in your binder. It is not good for the expansion of your chest and your airway. Don't do it. It's not fun. This also includes concerts, anything that you're gonna be jumping around, sweating in. Just don't do it. I've learned that from personal experience. Again, looking at you, Ryan. Just don't do it. You will regret it. Secondly, do not bind for more than 8 hours at a time. That's pretty much the maximum you want to be in your binder for. Otherwise, you risk back injury, rib injury, airway injury, lots of pain and discomfort. Just take it off after 8 hours, even if that's for a little bit. Take it off, take a break. Number 3 is to never, ever, ever, ever bind with ace bandages or duct tape or anything else that was not meant to bind your chest, because it is not going to allow for your chest to expand in the ways that it needs to for you to live, and again can cause serious bodily harm. There are lots of cheap binders out there. There are lots of ways to get a flat chest without a binder as well. Always try one of the safe alternative options instead of resorting to drastic measures like ace bandages and duct tape. And number 4, don't sleep in your binder. Sleep is the time for your body to rest and rejuvenate and stuff, and being in a binder does not allow for that. Give your body some time to rest because you need it, especially if you're gonna wear your binder throughout the day. So that is just standard binder safety. That's like what every single person should know and should do. Now here are some of my own personal binding tips. It is very important to have a favorite binder. Find your favorite. I try different ones out. I have tried a few. I would like to actually try more. I've never tried like an Underworks one or some of the other popular ones, but I've tried Shapeshifters one and then these GC2Bs here. When I only had my Shapeshifters ones, I didn't bind as much as I would have liked to because I was very uncomfortable. The binder was so restrictive that I literally couldn't go more than 2 hours wearing it without risking harm to myself. I had to go without it a lot of the time, and I just kind of thought binding was this horrible, awful thing, which, I mean, it's not fun, but it doesn't have to be that bad. So if your binder is hurting or super uncomfortable, or you can't be in it for at least a little bit of time without being able to breathe, you have the wrong binder. Switch companies, size up, whatever you need to do, but it's so important that you have a favorite because it'll make you feel so much more comfortable in your own skin. Another thing that's important, have more than one color. That being said, I do not recommend getting crazy colors. I've done that, it's not the move. For me, it's not. For other people, sure, if that's what you like, go for it. Me personally, I would not wear my colorful ones unless I was wearing them like by themselves, which I probably wouldn't do either, but like for example, like going to Pride and wearing just a binder or something, or swimming. Other than that, I would not wear my colorful binders under stuff because you can see them. You can see them under every single article of clothing. And if you're trying to pass, which not everybody is trying to do, but I personally am trying to pass, I don't want a big pink strap coming out from under my shirt because that's obviously going to set off some flags. In my opinion, having a nude binder is a necessity. If you're only gonna get one, I would definitely recommend to get a nude one, especially as your first one, because it is so versatile. You can wear it under things, you can wear it just around the house. I really think having a nude binder is super helpful. I also have a black one. That one's good too. I wear a lot of blacks. Another thing that's awesome about these ones, this is kind of a tip, I guess. The way that they're designed, they have like this V-neck thing here. And with my other binders, they didn't. They came up like this. And so I couldn't wear anything that was even remotely V-neck or looser because my binder would literally up here and then my shirt was like here. So I definitely recommend getting something with a little bit of a V-neck design because it gives you a lot more versatility in clothing. And I know for me personally, V-necks make me feel pretty masculine, just like a nice little like plain little V-neck. Sometimes it's a move. Something else I have learned from personal experience and would not have known without trying it is don't size up. Because of personal reasons, I cannot bind as frequently as I would like to. So I thought, with my big old smart brain, that if I sized up, I would be able to wear my binder for longer periods of time because it wouldn't be quite as tight, but it would still give me a pretty flat chest because it is a binder and it's still gonna do a better job than just like a compression bra. So that's why I bought one. I also bought it because I wanted to swim in it, which we'll get to in a minute, but I wore it around for the first few days because it was more comfortable. I could wear it for longer periods of time because I could breathe better. It hurt me greatly. It ended up making the skin on my chest very, very dry and sore. And it took me a while to figure out that that's what was going on because I literally wouldn't have thought of this, but when you wear a binder that you sized into, take for example this hugs me here and then up there as well, obviously. It allows for even distribution of the compression. The other one I have, it binds my chest, like my actual chest, but then right underneath my chest where it should also be thin compression, it's very loose. So it's concentrating all of that compression directly onto my chest and causing damage to my skin. So I do not recommend wearing a size up. Go based off what your measurements say, unless of course you are swimming. If you're gonna go swimming in a binder, you wanna size up because when it's wet, it's gonna constrict a little bit more. All right, next tip, which is probably honestly my #1 tip about binding and dealing with chest dysphoria, is to have some sort of backup binder, but not a binder, if that makes sense. So you wanna be able to have something that's not a binder that's going to get your chest as close to flat as possible so that you can take breaks and not wanna die. So I will show you guys what I use. I honestly cannot even find these anymore, so I don't know if they still make them or they sell them on the website or whatever. I have 2 of them, luckily, but I have looked for more just in case and I cannot find them anymore. So this is my backup. This is, I guess it's like a sports bra. I don't really know what it's called. A high-necked sports bra, I think it's what it's called. And I've used high-neck sports bras for a long time, even before I started binding, but this is by far the best one I have ever used. It gets me very close to the same as my binder, especially when I wear men's clothing, which is all the time. The brand on this is called Joy Lab. I found these at Target. I can't find them at Target anymore. I don't know if you could still find them online, but yeah, Joy Lab high neck sports bra, and you want to get the ones that do not have a hole in the back. I've seen some of these at Target, but they have like some weird hole pattern in the back, and they do not work nearly as well. Literally my savior. I wear it to exercise. I wear it if I'm gonna be out for a long period of time. I wear it pretty much a lot. It's just the most handy thing in the world. If it's too hot outside, I wear it instead of my binder. It's a lifesaver because I have to have something. I cannot exist with having my chest be visible. I can't do it. So having something like this that makes it so I can still be okay and not have my chest being seen is literally a lifesaver. I highly recommend that all people who bind get some sort of high neck sports bra, whether that's this brand or another brand. That brings me to my next point of taking breaks. You definitely want to take breaks from your binder, and I don't just mean, oh, I'm going to take it off for an hour and put it back on. I mean take whole days that you do not wear your binder at all, especially if you've had it on a lot frequently. If you have a day that you don't really have to do a lot, take a whole day where you don't wear it. Wear this or another more comfortable thing and take a good long break from your binder. Your body will thank you for it, and you will be able to bind more comfortably in the days that you really need to bind. Another thing that can help with those break days is layering your clothing. For instance, say you were gonna wear a t-shirt one day, but your back is hurting, your ribs are crushed, and you don't wanna wear your binder. Instead, wear a shirt and an overshirt, like a button-up, a shirt and a hoodie or whatever. Weather accounting for, I suppose. That's gonna make your chest so much less visible and give you the ability to take that break and be okay mentally. Something else I have learned in the last couple of years is it is important the way that your chest is positioned underneath your binder. I used to just put it on and be like, it's on, until I read, it was some little article I read somewhere, I don't even remember where it was, but it was talking about the damage to your muscles and your tissue based on the way you position your chest inside a binder. So for instance, I put this binder on from the top down, and so when I do that, it presses my chest this way, like flat, which yeah, I want my chest to be flat obviously, and it gets the most flat that way, but I find that I can't wear my binder as long that way and not be as comfortable. And again, I don't want to damage my tissue. Who would? What's been the most comfortable for me, and from what I read in the article is best for your tissue, is that when you put your binder on, you readjust and kind of pull your chest up and gets compressed in a more natural position. My last two, I guess, are also kind of binder safety related, but very important. Drink water. If you are going to bind, especially for extended periods of time or all day, you have to stay hydrated. You will feel horrible. You'll feel like you're going to pass out. You need to drink water. More water than you're probably used to, or maybe that's just me because I am horrible at drinking water. Drink water, stay on top of it, and you will feel so much better. You don't want to be miserable in your binder, because if you need a binder, it is miserable to be without a binder, so you don't want to make your experience in a binder miserable too, because then you're just miserable all the time. So if you take care of yourself in your binder, it's gonna be a much better experience for you, and you're actually gonna get some euphoria out of it. And last but certainly not least, take the time to stretch when you are in your binder, especially if you are sitting for long periods of time. I tend to be okay if I'm out and walking around in my binder, but if I'm sitting for a long period of time in it, man, I get sore. Take the time to get up, stretch up here, just kind of open this area so that it's not just like caving in your rib cage, you know? Anyways, I hope this was helpful to you guys who do bind. This is definitely some stuff I wish I would have known before I started binding. Again, please take care of yourselves and your binders. Your physical health does matter too, so please take care of your body and be safe. As always, thank you so much for watching this video and for watching my channel. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.